Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has passed a certain threshold that should tell you he hasn't committed a crime. The 60-day rule is that, 60 days, we'll read this. DOJ unlikely to charge Trump before midterms as unofficial timeline passes Newsweek. The Department of Justice may now hold off making any decision on whether to criminally charge Donald Trump until after the midterms in order to abide by the so-called 60-day rule. Now, ladies and gentlemen, really quickly, this is why you should hit subscribe to this channel right now. There is no 60-day rule if somebody actually committed a crime. This is all nonsense. Now, had Trump actually committed a crime that could be convicted where he could be convicted in a court of law, they would have indicted him at any point before the 60-day rule or a day before midterms. They don't care. They are desperate to indict and convict Trump. They can't convict him on anything. From January to New York and his tax returns and businesses to Georgia pressuring officials. The Mueller probe couldn't get him. They can't get him on classified documents, about nuclear armament. Oh my God, they already know he has classified documents. They're looking at going into his other properties. You can indict him tomorrow if he actually committed a crime. This is all nonsense, but here, while the 60-day rule is not official legislation, there is a long-running tradition that the Department of Justice will avoid making any decision that could affect how people vote so close to an upcoming midterms. They raided Mar-a-Lago, first president ever to have the Federal Bureau of Investigation go into his property. And, they also set up and framed an incoming president, an outgoing Democratic Party administration set up and framed an incoming Republican president, stating that, we think that there was compromising, or that another country helped install this new candidate, this new President Trump, and we need to investigate with the Mueller probe, which found absolutely nothing. Nobody was indicted for conspiring alongside foreign intelligence officials, which was what he was accused of. That never happened. It was a Steele dossier literally purchased by his direct political rivals. Now his direct political rivals are investigating him in every state, and they're investigating him with the federal government. And so it's all projection when they say Trump went after his direct political rivals. No, they're going after him everywhere, and Bannon, and Miller, and everyone around him. You think this is apolitical? But anyway, as of Saturday, November 8th, midterms are now 59 days away, meaning that if the DOJ chooses to follow the informal guidance, they must wait to make or announce a decision to charge Trump until after the midterms. That's Newsweek. The New York Times has an article, Trump investigation faces a dilemma before the midterms. And the Washington Examiner has another article on this. And then Bloomberg Law, DOJ is likely to wait past midterms to reveal any Trump indictment. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel and H.A. Goodman's other channel. I'll be doing a lot of segments on those two channels very soon. We're over 20,000 subs on H.A. Goodman's other channel. Over 5,000 subs on the Stock Market Crash channel. We have a recession. Corporate profits are going to tank. Michael Burry is correct. I predicted that also in October in my Federalist article, October of 2021. And in September of 2021, I started the Stock Market Crash channel. You could see the actual playlist. But if you want to support my work long term, my Patreon is below. To my new Patreons, thank you. If you want to give a super thanks to this channel, the super thanks is below next to the like and the share buttons. To my super thanks, thank you so very, very much. There's been some very generous super thanks lately, and I just want to thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the problem with media in our country. I just read you a number of articles talking about how the DOJ has to adhere to a unofficial guideline. It's tradition after all. They don't care about tradition. They are investigating a former president in numerous states. Democrats are going after Trump in numerous states, going after his tax returns, his businesses, any allies he has. They are leveling the state, local, and federal government against this man. And mashed potato brains, our beloved president, stated that Trump Republicans are the threat to democracy, labeling 70-plus million Americans as a big dilemma to democracy, which is hilarious because Hunter has emails published by the Daily Mail and the New York Post broke the story and was suspended by Twitter because they broke the story 2 years ago, has emails that show clear violations of the law where Hunter and Joe could be indicted under a Justice Department that actually was apolitical, which is not the case. When they said William Barr was an attorney for Trump, or what were they saying? The right-hand man, or what was they saying? Trump's personal attorney. Nothing could be further from the truth. Merrick Garland is basically working for the Democratic Party, not the country. He's going after Trump simply for political motive. There's no, when they say, oh, the rule of law, the rule of law, oh, the rule of law that Democrats care so much about. James Comey stated, and I'll be doing a short on this. Finally, I have a wonderful YouTube representative who said, hey, start doing shorts. So I'll be doing a short on this. James Comey stated that although there's potential violations of the statutes pertaining to the handling of classified data, no reasonable prosecutor would indict Madam Secretary. Madam Secretary was above the rule of law. These people are hilarious. It's like being lectured about civility and morality by actual criminals. I mean, it's like we all see this. You know when like you're hearing somebody say something negative about you and you're saying like, I can hear you. It's like we know we have Hunter with clear violations, graft, bribery, pay-to-play schemes, quid pro quo nonsense right there. The New York Post and the Daily Mail they have all the articles. I mean the emails. And it's like he's literally getting emails. How can you use your influence on the company's behalf? And then you're getting officials at the Bureau saying, we'll stop Trump. And then you have Clinton with top secret intelligence funneled outside the United States government on secret servers, where 30,000 emails are deleted. But you don't have ex-Bureau officials saying, gee, maybe she sold classified data on those deleted emails. I'm not even accusing her of that, and I want Clinton to be the nominee for the Democratic Party. I want a Hillary Trump 2024. But they're going after Trump like it's the only thing they have. We're going into, as I beg for super chat and my live streams. I'll have a live stream tonight, almost certainly. But as I beg for a super chat on the live streams or the Patreon or super thanks on this channel, save your money. I always tell people as I beg for donations, save your money, because we're going to have a terrible, terrible economic downturn, worse than what we're seeing. And I predicted all of this in September and October in the Federalist and in the playlist. But we have corporate profits declining, layoffs on the horizon, interest rates going up, inflation staying at 8.5 to 9%, food prices through the roof, oil prices will continue to go back up well above $100. We have another geopolitical nightmare on the horizon, almost certainly. We have a geopolitical nightmare in Europe. And Democrats and mashed potato brains Joe didn't even want to stop. They could have tried to negotiate a peace deal. We had Macron in France. You had some other people in Europe try, but not Joe. Not the morally superior liberals. No. They're going to blame their own policies on what's taking place in Europe. We have household median income down. We had it at a record high under Trump in 2019. I want that. We had a record low in poverty in 2019 under Trump. I want that. That's why you vote. That's why it's a moral imperative to vote for Trump. All of this nonsense, this hysteria. Look, media has an obvious overt agenda. They're all liberal Democrats. They side with the Democratic Party. They actively suppress any stories that are detrimental to the Democratic Party. You just heard, this is really sad and frightening and horrendous and terrible. And you had an atrocity take place in Nevada. You had a journalist for the Las Vegas Journal-Review who might have had his life ended by a Democratic politician. A Democrat. Yes, that's right. Say it slowly, Democratic Party. A Democrat might have ended someone's life, a journalist's life. His DNA was found at the scene. And do you want to know how media covered it? A local official. Gee, why don't you say the word Democrat? Oh, that's right. Because almost everything Mashed Potato Brains Joe says, the opposite takes place. So he kept saying, just the other day, Trump Republicans, danger to democracy. And then you have a Democrat ending the life of a journalist. And not one article condemning this in the New York Times or the Washington Post. Why not Washington Post or New York Times? If it was a Trump Republican that ended a journalist's life, God forbid, it would be nonstop. It would be 24/7 coverage, and that's why Trump will get almost half of the electorate or more always. Everyone knows the playing field isn't level. Everyone knows that media actively suppresses any detrimental story to the Democratic Party. And everybody knows that, well, let's put it this way. If people believe, if the issue is about emotion and sentiment, so Democrats always blame false information on any suspicion leveled at them, okay? The issue is that they almost certainly warrant or deserve suspicion leveled at them. Look at Bernie Sanders. The DNC said fair and neutral. And then they cheated Bernie Sanders. Then they said, Trump had something to do with perhaps he benefited from the DNC emails. Well, what do you think? Anyone would benefit. You cheated a candidate, Bernie Sanders. You cheated Bernie Sanders. What do you think's going to happen? I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. And I was the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. What do you think's going to happen if you cheat Bernie Sanders? Of course, the competitor or the political rival will benefit. But then they said, Trump, DNC, email, and the Russia, and the Kremlin wanted Trump, and they wanted Trump. They elevated Trump. It's within their own emails. The Politico published that a day before, November of 2016. And they were caught off guard. Media was caught off guard. They're not caught off guard now. They're throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at Trump. They are ready for Trump. But the thing is, the momentum is building. You have Jim Jordan, you have James Comer, you have a bunch of people in Congress that are actually have integrity, Rand Paul, and going after a very corrupt Democratic Party. And they will impeach Mashed Potato Brains numerous times probably, but definitely once. 2023, they might indict Trump just because Joe will get impeached. So, but they won't convict him in a court of law. And 8% of Democrats, I was going to do a segment on that. I'm like, nobody really, whenever I do those types of segments, nobody cares. But 8% of Democrats in that poll and a majority of Republicans would vote for an indicted Trump. Think about that for a second. 8% of Democrats. I think it's a Newsweek talked about it. I forgot what publication, but 8% of Democrats, if you could believe that. And so almost 1 out of 10 Democrats would say, yeah, give me Trump indicted. Okay. But anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now. I should have a live stream tonight to my 14 or 15 minute crowd. I love you. God bless you. Thank you for being here. We're almost at 200,000. We're going to zoom past 200,000 subs very soon. We're about 1,500 less than 1,500 subs away. If you know anybody who might enjoy this channel, share this segment everywhere and tell them to subscribe. Thanks so much.